Well, today marks the first full day of President Trump's second term in office.
Alex Michelson live in Washington, D.C. for what this means for California. Good morning, Alex.
Good morning, Sandra, Roxia. We're at the Hart Senate office building right now talking to both of California's senators about what exactly it means for California. It's a busy day for President Trump already. He was out late doing 3 different balls, and he's up early this morning at the National Prayer Breakfast. We want to take you to some live pictures showing what's happening right now. This is at the Washington National Cathedral. We see right there in the front row the President of the United States and the Vice President of the United States and their families behind them, part of a tradition of presidents attending a prayer breakfast after being inaugurated. What a busy first day, one of the busiest that we've ever seen. We've got some video of him yesterday signing executive order after executive order. He did some of it at the Oval Office. He did some of it at the Capital One Center. He did some of it at the Capitol because he had so many to go through, some 200 executive actions, many of them kind of going right at California policies and some of the progressive policies that we've seen in our state. Let's put up some of them onto the screen. Too many to put up on one screen, but here's some of them. Immigration, reinstating remain in Mexico, ending catch and release policies, ending birthright citizenship, which is something that'll certainly be challenged in the Supreme Court, an effort to withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord, to end some of the state's electrical vehicle mandates, to reinstate TikTok is one of them, to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to Gulf of America. There's just so many different actions that he took on day one. And one of the important things as we come back on camera here is what is he going to be doing when it comes to California. We know that President Trump is expected to come to our state on Friday to meet with Democratic and Republican lawmakers. One of them that hopes to be there is the Assembly Leader, James Gallagher. He is the top-ranking Republican in Sacramento. He's here for the inauguration, meeting with lawmakers, and we caught up with him.
Well, look, you know what, man? I think it's time to end the divisiveness. You know, we have been through a very divisive time, but now there's actually an opportunity for us to come together. And it could, you know, I think it could be on wildfire. I think that is an issue that Republicans and Democrats can come together on and say, look, it's time we get on top of vegetation management, fuel reduction, keep our communities safe, and also reduce carbon emissions in the same token. That's something that we should all be able to agree upon. At one point, we were actually putting some significant dollars into that, but we've backed away in recent years. So we need to get back to that policy, and we can work with the federal government, who, by the way, owns most of the land that we're talking about where we need to do this work. We could work with the Trump administration, and it could be something that we come out of this saying, hey, we finally came together as a country and we helped solve a really significant problem.
Gallagher represents Paradise, which, of course, saw such destructive fires back in 2018. He was with Newsom and Trump when they met there. He hopes to be there in Southern California when they meet again this time. I was also there for reporting during that time, and Sandra and Araxia, we saw a lot of agreement, actually, on some of these wildfire issues back then, and hopefully we'll see some agreement now, because, as we know, our residents need a lot of help.
Yeah, absolutely. This goes beyond politics. It's an emergency situation. You know, something that will be done, of course, throughout the president's term will be the compare and contrast of his first term in office. In 2017, on his first day, he signed one executive order. Certainly, that was a very different scene yesterday, as you brought up some of the executive orders that he signed yesterday.
A very different scene, and a very different scene in Washington, too. Back then, on his first day, or the next day, there were 500,000 protesters in the streets. More protesters than people that were supporters of him, and that was a big part of the story. Questions over crowd size was the debate. Now you see hardly any protesters, nothing really of note. You see his supporters everywhere, literally playing YMCA as you walk around Washington in the streets, and Trump is essentially doing whatever he wants.
We're running out of time here, Alex, but quickly, do you feel like the relationship between Governor Gavin Newsom and Trump, which has been contentious, will soften up a bit and things will be better for California going forward?
I think they're going to have to work together on the wildfire and hopefully get through that. But I think it's in both of their best interests to maybe be contentious, and so that's why you see some of this performance happening as well.
Unfortunately, we do. All right.
Politically,
Alex.
even though it may not be great for the state, politically, that's what I mean. Yeah.
I got you. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Alex. Good to see you.